All right, folks, welcome back. I'm Jake Ellenbogen. He is Cameron Lynch. We are
Yeah,
off the edge and we are
we
talking
are.
about the NFL draft finally.
Woo! Let's go. Super Bowl is over. I'm excited, Jake. It was great. Great time in Vegas. I'm glad it's done. I'm glad it's done. Chiefs +3. We talked about it. We had a conversation here. Chiefs +3. Anytime you're a Rams guy or a Buccaneers guy, it's cool to see Patrick Mahomes do what he does because, man, the Buccaneers beat him recently. And then he found his way back again, beat Jalen Hurts and then found his way, to beat the 49ers. Wow. Taylor Swift effect. what you think, bro? Come on now. We've been talking about it all year, Jake. All year, you're like, get that mess out of here. Taylor Swift ain't nothing. Woo, woo, And Travis Kelce said, nah, that's my boo. That's my boo right there. It's real. It's real, Jake. So what is it? Kim Kardashian dating Odell Beckham? Is that what we're gonna see next? We're gonna see Kim K in the stands, and they're gonna be the same booth together. What we gonna see next year? What's your hot take for next year's season when it comes to the celebrities dating athlete?
Oh man, you know me. I don't know too much about any of that. So
pop culture. You said the pop culture stuff. He's like, I kind of stay away from that. Okay, well,
I'm like that grandpa that doesn't know anything about
football.
anything.
You know football. Though.
Okay.
You know football.
But
sports.
Oh, how do you work this phone contraption?
This here iPhone 15, you got a new charger port. What's that?
So
that's fun.
So NFL draft stuff, right? We got
hot takes.
We got the number one overall pick. I feel like is obviously the thing we got to start with.
Let's get out the way, Jake. Yeah,
I'm gonna say Caleb Williams is gonna go number one overall
for 2 years now. You've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, but I feel like it's not going to be to where you think.
Wait, are we not thinking Magic Johnson? We not thinking Magic Johnson's gonna scoop this guy up?
Well, no, that's what we are thinking, but we'll get to that.
Okay.
Because we're gonna go somewhere different. Let's start with number 10. Okay.
Nice. Flip the script on it. You're like, you know what? We're gonna go to the bottom of the list. I love the way you did that. Well done.
Yeah. So just get people kind of hyped, excited, whatever.
Yeah. You got me hyped.
Oh, okay. Never mind. We're gonna be starting at 1.
Troll.
All right. So Caleb Williams. All right. He's going to be reunited with Cliff Kingsbury, and he's going to go to Washington. So, yes, he is going to go with Magic Johnson, like you were saying. The reason why I think that this is a hot take to an extent is because Washington currently doesn't have that pick. They have the second pick. We've seen trades before. Remember Mitch Trubisky? Also, the Bears had to do with that. Mitch Trubisky.
That gave me a headache. I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me drink some water. I'm sorry, Jake. You said Mitch. Wow. Yeah, that was like a throwback there. I haven't seen Mitch. Well, I mean, Mitch, he stepped on the field. He did his thing. These backup quarter. It's crazy, Jake. We talk about the draft. You got these first rounders, all these quarterbacks. They become backups. I think that's really important. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But, yeah, Mitch Trubisky, that threw me into a loop there, Jake. I played against Mitch. So that whoa.
Well, so the 49ers actually traded down a selection with the Bears, and they picked up a third rounder.
Jake, why you bring up the 49ers too, Jake? That just...
Well, it's relevant because in this case, Chicago would move down one spot with Washington and hold on to Justin Fields. So
yeah, thank you, Jake. Thank you. Give people what they want. Jake, did you not see the fans saying, we want Justin Fields? You heard them saying it. Give the people what they want. Don't go against the people.
No, I'm with you there. So definitely, I like the idea of keeping Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I understand why you have the internal discussion about drafting a Caleb Williams, but I feel like Fields' development there is real, and I don't think he's had a good OC. I mean, you pointed it out. You're the first one to point out on here. Yeah. Luke Getsy, you went to one of the games. It was Buccaneers and Bears, and Luke Getsy called the same plays over and over again, like he's a 5-year-old asking Madden.
And like, hey, B, or whatever it is. It's like, what are you doing? He called the same play back to back. Levante David, I'm here in Tampa. You can hear the Jets. I don't know if you can hear the Jets. I live next to the military base. Lavonte David went on television, but on his locker, he said, "Hey, why did he run the same play back to back?" He said, we know that. I told our defensive end, hey, pick the ball off and go score. Make it happen. Do your thing." That's crazy. Mercedes Lewis, I saw him after the game, and he was like, yeah, he just kind of shook his head. So, but Jake, going back to number one with Caleb Williams, Magic, I know you went back from 1 to 10 and back, that you got me there, right? Back to Caleb Williams. You've been talking about this for a long time. He's the guy, right? I went to the game against the Irish, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, Jake. He threw 3 interceptions, and it looked great. And you were like, no, trust me, he'll be just fine. And so I agree. He is going number one to Washington. I think Magic Johnson's going to scoop him up. Cliff Kingsbury, he's going to be very happy to reunite with Caleb. And then my other thing, too, is Eric Bieniemy left, right? They let him go. I wanted to discuss that, Jake, with you. What are your thoughts about that? We thought Eric Bieniemy was the guy for the Chiefs. In my mind, I didn't think the Chiefs were going to get as far as they did, Jake. Guys weren't catching the football, and Eric Bieniemy wasn't there. So I was like, hey, is Eric Bieniemy, is he the reason? And so we found out no, right? We found out no, Cheetah's not either. But I want to talk to you about that. Eric Bieniemy leaving the Washington football team, Cliff Kingsbury being there. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little weird, just kind of sending him off, but I get you get a new head coach and they want to go in a different direction. So I don't necessarily hold it against Dan Quinn. I think Bieniemy probably ends up back with Kansas City, to be honest with you. So that's a name to follow.
Hot take.
He could go with the 49ers and replace Clint Kubiak. He was the passing game specialist, I believe. So he could do something like that, but that's something we'll find out when we find it out. And, we talked about, Justin Fields, right? Well, he's got a great weapon in DJ Moore, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So let's just say right now the Bears are going to go out and get him a weapon. They traded down to number 2 in this hypothetical, but actually it's a hypothetical, but I believe this is what's going to happen. Trade down to number 2. They're going to take the best wide receiver in the draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think I have to say anything about his father. I think everyone knows who Marvin Harrison was.
Where do you go to school at? Where do you go to school at?
Ohio State. So,
no. Where does dad go to school at?
Oh, Syracuse.
Let's go Orange. Thank you. Sorry, Jake. I didn't mean to set you up with that one, but Marvin Harrison Sr. was all over our school. Him and Dwight Freeney. He just got inducted to Hall of Fame all over our school. So I'm really excited about this pick. I love that, Jake. And one thing I also want to say, too, is T. Higgins. He's a free agent, Jake. I want to highlight these free agents because we do, and we don't have a graphic for this. So please forgive us, right? Please forgive. We don't have a graphic for this, but I want to go off script a little bit here. T. Higgins is a free agent. He's a number 4 free agent here. I'm looking at PFF right now. He's the number 4 free agent. And one thing I want to call out during the draft is there will be trades before that, right? The portal. It's going to be happening. And so T. Higgins, keep an eye on that. Keep an eye out for the Bears to maybe get him and then also to take Harrison as well. Jake, if you got that triple threat, brother, it's going to get spooky. You get a great running back there. You sharpen up that defense because you have a free agent on the cornerback side too for the Bears. It could get spooky over there in Chicago. So also, too, make sure your backup quarterback is excellent, Jake, because we know that quarterback is currency. I feel like a broken record. I've been saying this for 2 years. You make sure you have 2 quarterbacks. So Justin Fields can run the ball if he gets hurt, and you got 3 wide receivers or 2 wide receivers, a great tight end. You need someone to get the ball to him. I think that's really important. You talked about a couple quarterbacks coming off the board this first or second round. I got a whole bunch more, but we'll talk about that later.
No, absolutely. I think right now, and I didn't give enough credit to Cole Kmet. I think Kmet's a really solid player.
I'm glad you brought him up. I tried to tee you up on it. I'm glad you brought him up.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. But with the wide receivers, I don't think they really have much. So DJ Moore, and then now you're going to add Marvin Harrison Jr. with Cole Kmet and Justin Fields. I think that's a really nice.
Or T. Higgins. That's my little sprinkle. But yeah,
I could see that too. And then you have
Brandon Ayuk, Jake. That's another one. Come on. If he does not stay with the 49ers, where does he go? Because he was looking like one of the better receivers on that championship game, or Jennings as well, because he had 2 touchdowns. So there's a couple of receivers, Bears, that I just called out here on Bleacher Report that you can go after. They'd be a great addition.
Yeah, just hopefully they don't send another second-round pick to the Steelers because that didn't work out the last time with Chase Claypool.
Jake, I'm giving you you know how to do the meme, you know what I'm saying, how you look like this and look sideways.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, people make interesting decisions, Jake, during the draft. And if you want
interesting is a word.
Interesting guy. And yeah, if you want to take some notes, go look at the Eagles, what they did during the draft. The coordinators, they struggle a little bit, but look what the Eagles did. Look what the Rams did. Even the Chiefs, Jake. I mean, these guys couldn't catch a cold, but they happened to pick the right people, and they made the right decisions, and they're the champs. 49ers too. So give them credit.
So number 4 here.
49ers, he said, in other news. That's not nice.
The New England Patriots. All right. This might not be as much of a hot take. I think it's more so a hot take that we're placing a quarterback at a specific location. I got the Patriots taking Drake May to be their franchise quarterback at a UNC. And I think that is the direction they should go in. I don't think the Patriots' long-term future is on that team right now. I don't think anybody can say, yeah, Mac Jones, that's our guy. Maybe when they first drafted him, they thought, okay, maybe. But Mac Jones, I mean, I don't know if you
heard. What round did Mac go in? What round did Mac go in, Jake?
First round. Yeah, 15th.
So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on first round? My thoughts, the first round to 5th round, Jake, I'm all these quarterbacks on the board that you just list, I'm looking at PFF. All the quarterbacks, I think they all need to go 1st to 5th round. If you are a quarterback in this draft, you think about Anthony Richardson for the Colts, right? He got hurt, unfortunately. So you think about, you just mentioned it, Mac Jones. These first-round quarterbacks are cool, but they might get hurt. They may not pan out. But if I'm an organization, I don't care who my starter is, I need a quarterback off this list. Full stop, Jake. I mean, think Stetson Bennett. He was on the Rams and he wasn't able to finish the season out, Jake. So you need quarterbacks on your roster to finish things out. And I think that's really important. I mean, the Rams need one off this list. I'm just going to tell you right now. So the Patriots taking Drake May, that's cool. Also, I also want to think about this. Sam Hartman, he's a little bit older, Jake. My man has a full beard, bigger than mine. He might be a great Patriot, right? The Notre Dame way is similar to the Patriot way. So I want you to think about that. He's not as great as Drake May as a player, but I think he would be a great backup in some time. Jordan Travis, Florida State. I mean, he's a baller. Caleb Wood, Michael Penix. You got Jaden Daniels. He won the Heisman. You cannot go past a Heisman winner or Michael Penix, a national championship competitor, or J.J. McCarthy, who went to Michigan like Tom Brady. You cannot pass those guys up. I know we have Drake May here. I know we have the graphic, but I got to add some friction. We cannot go past the people I just listed and put Drake May up there. I'm sorry. You cannot go past a Heisman winner, national championship competitor, and bring up Drake May, who went to North Carolina, without thinking of those guys. If I'm the Patriots, I'm sorry. I know we have the graphic up here, but I got to kind of go against that because it's come on, my man won the national championship. I mean, played in the national championship, won the Heisman. We're talking about Drake May. I mean, I get it. He's a baller. I get it. But we have a lot of better players and people that can win some games on this list that I'm looking at here from PFF. So
Cam, we're about to butt heads on this. You ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. So here's the thing. Drake May, I like Drake May for the Patriots. I would say I have a higher grade on Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels might actually be my favorite quarterback in the draft. But you mentioned J.J. McCarthy. Yeah. I'm going to say this right now. J.J. McCarthy. Okay. All right, Michigan went 14-0 because they kept J.J. McCarthy out of making mistakes. That run game is the reason they went 14-0 and won the national title. He made a couple nice throws here and there, but in big games, they did not want J.J. McCarthy slinging the ball. And that is the sad truth of it. So when I hear J.J. McCarthy, clearly a first-round pick, I saw a mock draft the other day with him 5th, I wouldn't take him in the first round, period. I don't know if I would take him at all. I'm not high on J.J. McCarthy at all.
JJ's not getting drafted. So like a Stetson Bennett, for example. You look at Stetson Bennett. When is that Stetson going to get drafted? Third, the fifth round? When did he get drafted? You don't see Stetson and JJ kind of in the same where you have him as a backup and you have to.
The thing about Stetson is that I saw a guy that was willing to throw deep down the field. He could make big time plays. McCarthy won that national title because that run game, Blake Corum, the guys up front, the defense, defensive coordinator Jesse Minter, who just went over to the Chargers. I just don't feel great about JJ McCarthy. That might change. But I definitely would not pick him over Drake May. I'll say that.
So my question for you, like Anthony Richardson, for an example, unfortunately he got hurt, right? But the backup quarterback, Gardner Minshew, I don't know when Gardner got drafted, Jake, but my man was in Pro Bowl. The Colts look great. So I get what you're saying.
His agent was like,
yeah. I get what you're saying. Brock Purdy is in the national championship. I get what you're saying. But these first-round quarterbacks, trust me, bro, I played with them. Sometimes they pan out, sometimes they don't, bro. So what I'm saying is all these quarterbacks on this list, first to fifth round, these coaches, the Patriots, the Bears, going up this list, Patriots, Bears, Washington, they need to think about getting one of them or two of them if they can. But they need quarterbacks that can win football games. I'm looking at Tua Tagovailoa. Bring him on the squad too, just like the Milwaukee Bucks have the brothers, Antetokounmpo brothers. Do the same thing at Miami. You're going to get more jersey sales, but with just different numbers. Make a business decision and just get backup quarterbacks for your team because we just know this, Jacob. People in this chat know. Somebody just said lefties don't work well in the NFL. I don't like Penix too much. Come on, bro. He's a national championship. You have to see DC. Have you played football before? Like, come on, bro. Jake, you just said JJ McCarthy and Penix. You said Penix. They probably won't get drafted. Come on, bro. This is nonsense.
Well, no. They're going to get drafted. Bro. I mean, I like
nonsense, bro.
I like Penix more than I do not like McCarthy. I stand by that.
McCarthy beat Penix in the national championship, bro.
He didn't have to do as much though.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I played National Football League. And just you're talking about two quarterbacks who play the national championship, and you don't think they're going to be able to compete and impact the football team in the first 5 rounds. I mean, bro, I don't know if you're saying that. I just said that. I don't know if that's your thought process. But
no, it's not my thought process.
Okay, good.
But I'm a picky drafter. So when I do mock drafts, there are players I won't even touch, and that's JJ McCarthy is one of those guys. So that's
what about that makes sense. So you think about the 49ers and what they just went through. You think about Mr. Irrelevant. So we hear that story where we cover the Rams, the 49ers. If we hear that story, we've seen it come to fruition, and you're still being picky about a quarterback. We saw Mr. Irrelevant go to the national championship. Like, I know he has Hall of Famers on his team. I get that. But my thing is, how would you discount J.J. McCarthy when we just seen the guy in the national championship, Mr. Irrelevant? I don't get that. What we're doing is, I think what people don't realize is some folks don't play football, never played football, never put a helmet on. I get that, and that's okay. But sometimes, Jake, we look into this data, we look too far into it. We look too far into it, and it's simple. If you make the national championship, you deserve to play in the NFL at a high level, and you deserve to get drafted, and you deserve respect in your name. Like, at the end of the day, I was at the Super Bowl, I was at Radio Row, people talking la, 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 la. Chiefs in 3. Chiefs in 3, and any quarterback that goes to national championship, Jake, and that plays in college football deserves to be on NFL team number 1 and number 2. Full stop. And that's my piece. I don't want to get too turned up on this because we're only a number 4. But we have to realize, as athletes and in the sports business, respect people and what they do. If you make a national championship, put respect on their name. That's all I gotta say. I've been doing a lot of shows with you. If you make a national championship, Jake, from here on out, when we discuss players, let's just put respect on their name because that's crazy. That's crazy.
No, I mean, I get, like, he'll be in the NFL, and I believe a team will draft him. I just wouldn't take him as a franchise quarterback. I don't think that's what he is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He could be a backup. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, for sure.
But then again, if you're talking about backup, then he's not in the conversation with Drake May. He's not in the conversation with number 5, Falcons. are going to move up and take my guy Jaden Daniels, who I believe
Ooh.
might actually be the best quarterback in this draft, believe it or not.
Okay. Why?
Well, when I watch Jaden Daniels, I just think he's so explosive, but I think he's so smart. And, you watch the film, you watch just, his ability to throw into space, throw guys open, throw with anticipation. I look at him and I'm like, that guy is going to make it. He really is. And, this is somebody that, was beaten up at Arizona State, and just not just injury wise, but I mean, just the talk, the bashing. But when I watch him play, the guy's electric at LSU this year. Big reason why he won, the Heisman. And how many times have we seen, quarterbacks? I mean, we see it in this draft already with Penix. Penix was a dumpster fire in Indiana. I don't know if you
Indiana was a dumpster fire. He was balling.
I don't know about that one. His film was bad, Cam.
All right.
So
he didn't go to national championship because Washington didn't see a great football player that. Bro, okay, yeah. Well, we can go through the tape later on Michael Penix. We can go through the tape later. Somebody in the chat talking about lefties don't work well. Get out of here. Michael Vick, get out of here. Who was his DC-24 lefty? Was Michael Vick a lefty?
He was a lefty.
Okay. And we're talking about the Falcons right now. Didn't Raheem Morris go to the Falcons? So why would Raheem Morris not get a guy like Jaden Daniels or Michael Penix Jr., a minority who could do well in that system? Who are lefties like Michael Vick? Why would he not say, Jake, Michael Vick, can you come to practice and help out my left-handed quarterback because you were here in Atlanta and come on, DC-24, silly.
I mean, I love Jaden Daniels to the Falcons because, I mean, they have to do something. We talked about it all year. We tried to be nice. I mean, you brought up your guy Heineke. I brought up my guy Ritter.
Great backups.
I'll say this. I still think Ritter can work in this league. I didn't like what was around him. And I don't mean the weapons. He had the weapons. I didn't like what Arthur Smith was doing. So I would almost be interested to see Ritter with Zach Robinson. But I really feel like the Falcons need to go ahead and they need to draft a quarterback. And, sometimes you have to trade up. And you don't want to trade up, but sometimes you have to. And, the Chiefs traded up all the way to 10. And got Patrick Mahomes, and people thought they were crazy because they had Alex Smith. Well, not long after that, Patrick Mahomes becomes, arguably the best quarterback.
What round did he get drafted in, Jake?
First round.
Patrick Mahomes.
So they trade up to 10th overall, and they get Patrick Mahomes while they had Alex Smith. The Falcons don't even have Alex Smith. They have a guy in Ritter who has potential, but we don't know what he is. And so, I look at 23-year-old, 6'4" Jaden Daniels. I look at the explosiveness that he's going to bring to the table. I look at the potential. I look at the potential.
I'm going at DC right now. Sorry.
I look at the potential read option opportunities. So you have him, and you got Bijan, and you got, of course, Algier. And then you have, Drake London, and if they keep Kyle Pitts, and now all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, they got some the guys. And then this is a 7-10 ball club last year that should have been 10-7, maybe 11-6. So now you have a really good coach in Raheem Morris, a player's coach. You have a new, a whole new thing there. And then the defense, they went out and they got Jesse Bates last year. In free agency, who was great.
You had him on your list. On your list as a top safety, Jake. You might have had him on 5, but he might need to move up to number 2, bro, because
he's really good.
Yeah,
he's really good, and
he's really good.
He's really good. And then the thing that I like is AJ Terrell. People thought he might be a trade candidate. He might leave. He was very happy to be reunited with Raheem Morris. So those are the little things that don't get talked about, but that's going to be huge come, negotiation time. Okay, now you have him.
You want to be with who you want to work with who you like at the end of the day. You and I work with each other because it's like, it works. At the end of the day, you want to work with your buddies. And Raheem Morris, once you get to a team, you want to call your guys up. And so if you went through the trenches with someone, you're going to be like, we get to do this again. We get to feed our families. We get to win ball games and championships. It's a big deal. So, I agree.
Yeah, so I really like the idea of getting Jaden Daniels. I think that's kind of what they're going to end up doing. Number 6.
Tebow was the one of the greatest college football players ever. I'm sorry, DC. Now you're going at it, Jake. He said left-handed quarterbacks. I went through a whole list of left-handed quarterbacks: Pat White, Tua, Matt Leinart, Tim Tebow. These are quarterbacks in college that, I mean, in the NFL they didn't really pan out, but these are great quarterbacks. Come on. Sorry, Jake. DC's the only one here. I feel like this is the only person we're talking to. So, hey, I got to show love.
Hey, no, I get it. So, number 6. All right. The Rams will make their first round pick selection since 2016 with Jared Goff. Now, this doesn't mean they're going to pick at 19. Okay. This does not mean that they are going to make a draft selection at 19. What this means is that they are going to pick in the first round for the first time since they picked Jared Goff. And what's funny to me, Cam, is that I was going through some of the guys that they've chosen at pick 19, and no Rams fan should want them to pick at pick 19. It ain't a good list. Alex Barron is the last guy they drafted at 19, and he did not work out. So here's the deal. It's the Rams. So a lot of people assume, okay, when Les Snead, last year said, we're going to go through this year, and then 2024, we're going to go back to what we do.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What is back to what we do? Are we going to see a trade? I would imagine we see some sort of trade.
Absolutely.
But I think they're going to keep their first round pick, Cam, and I think they're going to potentially select an edge defender in Latu out of UCLA. I think there's a chance that they could get Quinion Mitchell from Akron. I think there's definitely a few guys.
We need a quarterback. Is Stetson Bennett available?
Well, not in the first round. Well, hey. I mean, I can't laugh because there are people that have been saying it.
Whose spine was hurt, Jake? Whose spine was hurt 2 years ago, and who was out of the season for the Rams 2 years ago? It was Matthew Stafford. So we need a daggone quarterback. I mean, I know we have Carson Wentz, but hey,
well,
how long
is
Carson
free agent?
Thank you. So one of those quarterbacks on that list, Rams, we should think about it. If Stetson Bennett comes back, yes or no? I think that's a question. But Matthew Stafford,
I don't think he's coming back.
Okay, we don't. Okay, praying for him. But Matthew Stafford, keep this 100. Let's keep it 100. We went to the playoffs. It was cool. Aaron Donald and yourself. How many years do you have left? 3. Okay, well. Let's get somebody in here who you can pass the torch to. Matthew Stafford, no, he can't take out his Jake. He had neck issues, man. We know that. So Rams, let's not look past JJ McCarthy. You keep talking about if the Rams get JJ McCarthy, whoever, Jake, I don't care.
I'd be upset.
Yeah.
I would be upset. Hey, well, Cam, I've heard Bo Nix.
There you go.
And of course
Rodney Pete talked about it.
We talked with Rodney Pete about that. I'd be absolutely against drafting a quarterback unless Jaden Daniels fell into their lap. And the reason I say that is because I don't know if this is going to be a year where they try to win now, but this is a team that's ready to win a Super Bowl again. They're back to that point.
So you let the 49ers go again? Like what? That's silly.
Well, no, this is a team that's ready to go, win another Super Bowl. And I just don't feel like spending a first-round pick, your first-round pick since 2016 on a player that's not even going to see the field all year.
Well, yeah.
I don't think it makes a lot of sense.
Or get one of these free agents, Jake. We got that for the Rams. I know the Rams are up here number 6, and I know we're coming up on time a little bit, but the Rams have to trade. They have to figure it out. With this first pick, if they trade, do whatever they want. But the Rams have to look at free agency first. This whole draft stuff is cool, but they got to go to the free agency. Kirk Cousins, what does that look? Then they wouldn't do it. That's a lot because they do have, the quarterback, but you got to get somebody here. And even when they trade, they got to get somebody. Matthew Stafford's great, Jake, but he was getting smacked around. That Lions game, bro, he was getting smacked around.
And he looked like the best quarterback in the playoffs. So I'm not trying to move on from that. Yeah. What I understand what you're saying. I mean, I think you take care.
Older, yeah.
You take care of the backup position. I think you bring back Carson Wentz. But looking at this first round pick, I think you shore up spots that you don't currently have shored up. I mean, maybe you draft a center. The Powers Johnson guy out of Oregon. Maybe you go tackle. There's going to be plenty of tackles in this draft that can start right away. Do you bring back Alec Jackson? He's right now he's a restricted free agent. They could go along the lines of bringing in another receiver. They could go along the lines of bringing in a tight end. Maybe it's a trade up.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't want them picking in 19. Maybe they move back, but what if they move up? What if they move up and they get, Brock Bowers?
What if they get 2 first-round picks? What if they trade and they get 2 first? I mean,
well,
you never know.
Unlikely, but
yeah.
I see what. Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. But I think that's an interesting thing. And then of course you have to think about the future. Aaron Donald. Do they just decide? You know what? We really like. Somebody. In the interior in this class, and they decide to just draft the interior. Who knows?
Steven Villa worked out. I mean, hey, the Rams offensive line is great. They got some guys to pay in free agency too. So I think before they draft, they got to shore up some dollars too. So the draft, I know we're talking about draft hot takes, talking about the Rams. For people that are listening, for our two folks that are here in the chat, thank y'all for hanging out with us. The free agency comes first. Take care of the guys who can plug and play right now, because a lot of times with the draft, the guys will play and start sometimes, but like we talk about Anthony Richardson, Jake, he got hurt. Will Levis, he ended up starting, but you just never know with these draft picks. As a former player, the rookies, you just never know. That's your Puka Nacua. You just never know. Who's a grown man, you just never know. So really put your value in this free agency. Chris Jones is a free agent. I know he said he's going to stay with the Chiefs, but if Chris Jones is available, if I'm any team, I'm thinking about it. So think about it. Or the Eagles are going to get him, and they're going to have every defensive lineman in the world, So you got to really think about free agency before you do jump into, this draft. And I know we're talking about the draft. Oh, we got people jumping in, but it's very important.
I'll say this. At number 7 here, I think this is a hot take, which, by the way, backs up your point. With JJ McCarthy going in the first. I'm saying I wouldn't take him in the first. I think he's going in the first. I think there are a bunch of teams that are quarterback needy that are going to have to go. So I'm going to say 5 quarterbacks will be selected in the first round. I think those quarterbacks are as follows: Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, and Bo Nix. Michael Penix, I think, is going to fall to the second. But I think we're going to see 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round. I think this has been essentially a draft that has just been all about the quarterback hype. Everyone's talking about this being a generational quarterback class. I don't agree with it. I think that there's a lot of landmines here. I don't think it's smooth sailing. And I mean, let's be honest here, Cam, history shows you're not going to get a clean sweep. We're not going to see all 5 quarterbacks drafted in the first round end up being 5 franchise quarterbacks. That's not the way the world works. So, I mean, I think you can see, I mean, it's true. You never know, but it's very unlikely. So I think this is one of those classes where, like a Michael Penix Jr. shows up in, round 2, and he ends up being the Jalen Hurts of this draft. And all of a sudden now everyone's talking about him like, damn, where did he come from? It's like, well, people were like, what do you mean, where did he come from?
Yeah, he's a national championship. I disagree with that. I think there will be, so what I'm looking at here, I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think Sam Hartman, I think Sam Hartman will go in the 2nd or 3rd round or 4th round. But I think there will be 7 to 8 quarterbacks coming off this board. The reason why I say that
in the first round?
In the first round, because it's 32 picks in the first round. I think there will be more quarterbacks in this first round than I think that we've ever seen, because think about this. Will Levis ended up wasn't starting quarterback when he got there. Anthony Richardson he got drafted, didn't end up starting. So teams need quarterbacks, right? They had Gardner Minshew become a Pro Bowler. He was not a draft pick. So I think they're seeing Brock Purdy become Mr. Irrelevant and a Super Bowl contender, bro. Like I said, I don't think like I said, I was at Super Bowl all week and Radio Row all week. These teams need quarterbacks. At the end of the day, the fact that Brock Purdy was able to step up and win these football games, their minds are blown right now. People were hating like all get out. They were hating, but he said Jake, we cover the Rams. Brock Purdy is him, right? He stays strong with his faith. He doesn't get rocked. And, bro, he just goes out there and delivers, and teams are seeing that, and they're like, damn, Mr. Irrelevant's really doing this. Okay, they're like, okay. Jake, 2 years ago, the Rams, Matthew Stafford got hurt. The Rams were stuck with it was abysmal. The Rams will not be in a situation again. Stetson Bennett won 2 national championships and unfortunately cannot play anymore. Well, the Rams have to go back to the drawing board. They got Carson Wentz, thank God. Thank God we got Carson Wentz. But Jake, if anyone's been watching football last year, you know you have to get a quarterback. I've been saying this on this Bleacher Report show all year. Quarterback is currency, Jake. I think there's 7 quarterbacks that come off this list. J.J. McCarthy and the 2 Super Bowl quarterbacks that you just talked about that they won't get drafted in the first round, I think they'll get drafted in the first round, and I think that'll make 7. That's just my thought.
All right. I mean, yeah. You used to do like 7, 8. I was like, I'm trying to think who the heck is going to go.
I mean, Jordan Travis from Florida State. Come on, Bo Nix, Jane Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix. Come on, J.J. McCarthy, Caleb Williams. That's about 7. Jordan Travis. So I think that's 7.
I think Travis coming off with a serious injury. I don't see it, but hey, we'll find out sooner or later. Number 8, rare trade will happen in first round. What I mean by this is, and this is kind of funny because Cam, when AJ Brown was traded from the Titans to the Eagles, and yeah, I'm sure there's people in the comment section that forgot he was a Titan at this point because it feels like he's been on the Eagles forever. When AJ Brown was traded, that was a rare trade. When Marquise Brown was traded to Arizona, that was another rare trade. These don't happen every year. It's very rare that these happen. DeAndre Swift, people might have forgotten about it. DeAndre Swift, the Lions traded to the Eagles. So, I feel like, it's a rare thing, but I think we're going to get a big name, and it could be one of the big tag options. We talk about free agency and tagging and trading. I mean, Kirk Cousins could be traded if the Vikings want to tag him and get something more than a third. You only get a 3rd round compensatory pick at the highest value when you lose a guy in free agency. So you might as well want to do that, and so I think Kirk Cousins, like you mentioned, makes sense. I think T. Higgins, a tag and trade opportunity. I mean, think about this. The Bengals are realizing pretty quickly that they don't want to see Jamar Chase leave. They want to take care of business, and they're actually willing to let go of Higgins to do that. Yeah. Higgins also, with the injuries, scared them. Then you have Brian Burns in Carolina.
That's your guy.
Well, does the Giro Evero staying, does that keep him in Carolina? That's the question. It's a new regime there. We don't know what's going to happen. So I think really there's going to be those types of trades that are made. And
Mike Evans.
That's the thing. Like, Tampa's in a weird spot. I don't think they can tag and trade Mike Evans because they also have Baker Mayfield. They also have Antoine Winfield Jr.
So who do you keep? Baker? Do you keep Baker or do you keep Mike Evans?
I think they're going to keep Baker.
A receiver who's giving you 1,000 yards every year. Talk about this at Radio Row.
Yeah.
A receiver who gave you 1,000 yards for the past, 10 years? Or do you go with somebody who first round pick overall and who's been there for 2 years, who's been there for 1 to 2 years?
I think I'd go with Baker. He's younger. I don't think Mike Evans wants to be there anymore. And I think Mike Evans is going to go and ring chase. And I think he deserves that. If he wants to do that, go to Kansas City and, you'd have to take a little bit less money. But that might also not be the case. He might also not want to ring chase. He might just want to bag chase. And if he wants to bag chase, all the power to him there as well. He could get probably $24 million a year.
He's already got no state income tax. He's a part of investment. He got loan money. He got loan money that he can't even count. He got generational wealth. I think the bag, Jake, for Mike. I live in Tampa. When we talk to WDAE, the iHeartRadio out there, we've already talked about it. My thing is, when you get married, I got married recently. Regardless if he's happy or not, happy wife, happy life, figure out what's going to make him happy. If it's steak in your cup, whatever it is, but make the man happy, give the man. So my thing is, or in the draft, or do you get Kirk Cousins, right? Free agency's coming up. Do you get a quarterback who can probably actually take you to that? Baker Mayfield's great, Jake. He's fabulous. Leadership is great. Do you want Baker Mayfield, or you think about Kirk Cousins is also lined up here? Do you get Kirk Cousins with with a Mike Evans. You might be a little bit older guys, but you got Hall of Famers who can go win right now. You get Kirk Cousins in there, Jake. I think they can go. I think if Kirk Cousins was at the Buccaneers right now, I don't know if other quarterbacks are on here. What quarterbacks are on this list? And you got guys in the draft. We just went through a whole draft list of guys. You get Kirk Cousins in there. You get somebody like a J.J. McCarthy or in the 5th round, whatever round you want, J.J. and Jake. You don't even undraft them up to your standards. Don't undraft them. But I guarantee you, if you get a guy like Kurt Cobain, who people love him, Captain Kirk, and you get guys like him and J.J. McCarthy together, or Michael Penix, who you also said he won't get drafted in the 1st round, I don't care. Undraft them. Pick those 2 guys for the Buccaneers and Mike Evans. I guarantee you, those guys will cause some damage in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. And I think that the Rams and 49ers better get their stuff together, because if they had that combination, they'd be dangerous. I play for both teams. They'd be dangerous. That's my thought. Give the man Mike Evans, pay him the respect. Don't take him out of there for Baker Mayfield. Come on, man. That's crazy. Sorry, but treat your wife right, bro. You've been with her for 10 years. The new girl come across, 1st round pick. You want to give her away for your wife. You've been with for 10 years. She be giving you buckets for 10 and the championship. You want to give her away for, come on. That's crazy. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's just the reality of it. I think I don't think it's past salvaging, but I think Mike Evans probably wants something different. I don't think their values add up. I don't think that, they're on the same page. And I think with Baker, he found a home there. I think he's more likely to sign there. I think, being younger and everything as well. I think that they're going to go with. I think they're going to go with Baker Mayfield. I like
the pretty young thing, huh? They want the pretty young thing. I see. That's a mistake. That's a mistake. I'll let you know that right now, Jake. We saw Baker at the Rams, bro. We seen him. Come on, bro. You know better than that.
I mean, he was way better on Tampa, but he also, to be fair, got to learn the offense. Wasn't thrown into the fire right away.
He's the 1st round pick overall. What do you mean not thrown in the fire, bro? That means the fire. When you the 1st round pick?
No. I mean, like starting from week 1 and on as a starter instead of just throw it in there.
When you're a professional football player, bro, you're expected. I went through it. I played for 4 years. Trust me. When you're a professional football player, you're the 1st round pick. I was undrafted and I was expected to start or play when I went to the Rams from the Buccaneers. That's BS. What you're saying right now is BS. When you're the 1st round pick overall, you're expected, the NFL, not only the Rams, the NFL is expecting you to hold it at a high standard. What Baker Mayfield was doing, we expected that of him. We expected that, and he wasn't great at the Rams. So the Buccaneers going to make the same. Sorry, Jake. I played football. I watch it every week just like you. We know better than that. For the Buccaneers to be like, man, we saw Baker at the Rams. He did okay. He picked it up. Cool. The Buccaneers, but we're going to get rid of Mike, who we've been with for 10 years, for this new chick. Silly.
Well,
sorry.
Well, okay. Silly. I know that's the expectation.
Thank you. Somebody said Baker's a bust. Thank you. Baker's a bust. I
got to push back on that. He was top 5 in passing touchdowns in the NFC. He led them in the divisional round of the playoffs, had a chance to win that game. And I think if we're going to compare him to, where he was the last 5 games of the Rams season, considering they had 16 different offensive line combinations and he was throwing to, Van Jefferson and Ben Skoranek and Tutu Atwell, guys that really weren't getting the ball earlier in the year. I mean, I just think that, yeah, I understand the expectation is to just get thrown in the fire and this is the NFL and just figure it out. But it also shows you what happens when you have a full offseason to prepare. You have a full offseason to build within a system. Give up
Mike Evans.
But Mike Evans is 31 at receiver, and they don't want to pay him $24 million a year.
LeBron James has been playing for 20 years, bro. What do you say, bro? LeBron.
I also don't think Mike Evans wants to be there any longer. That's my thing.
How do you know?
Well, I mean, he didn't want to negotiate at all. He wanted to just play through the year.
You were in the room, Jake. You telling me Jake Ellenbogen was in the room with Mike Evans, so you know exactly what. If Mike Evans
I don't. I don't know, but I mean that's basically what what the reports were, is that he didn't want to negotiate this year. He wanted to play out his season and then maybe negotiate in the offseason.
Did you write? As your writer, you write, Jake. Jake, come on, bro. You write, athletes, players. Who wrote those articles? If you wrote them, I'll be like, damn, all right, well, damn. But if you say Joe Blow wrote them, Jake, then those articles aren't real. Unless Jake Ellenbogen talked to Mike Evans about his contract situation, then bro, it's just smoke. It's just talk. So I'm sorry. We can move to the next one, Jake. But.
Yeah, I don't see him going back to Tampa. That's just me, and I don't see letting Baker go and try to figure out starting quarterback again. That's also just me. But then number 9, I think a kicker's going to go as high as the 3rd round, Cam.
No,
I'm not saying he should, but I'm saying we saw Jake Moody. So it's
thank you.
It's not uncommon. And let me just tell you this right now. Jake Moody had one of the most bipolar kicking Super Bowls of all time. He broke the all-time record for the longest kick in the Super Bowl, which was then broken right after by Harrison Butker on the other side. And then, everyone keeps saying how, his kick got blocked, his extra point got blocked. It wasn't blocked. He kicked it. It went off the side of his foot and went into somebody's helmet. That's not blocked. That's a bad kick.
He's a rookie, right? He's a freaking rookie, and that's okay, Jake. But when I play with rookies, you don't draft Robert Aguayo. Jake, I was
God, yeah.
Jake, I play professional football, bro. Just listen to me, please, just real quick. Sorry, I know I want to go get some of these because this is what great TV is, right? You can't just have stuff up here that all of us agree, and that this is what great TV is. This is what great content is. I disagree with this Robert Aguayo because I play with Robert Aguayo, and then the Jake Moody example is 2 examples as to why you don't put that much pressure on kickers. You draft them in the 5th or 7th round. So this is how you look at it. 1st and 5th round, you get your starters. 5th to 7th round undrafted, you get your backups. Your 5th to 7th round, those are your special team players, right? They have to be really good. We talk about the Jakes and playoffs. Pack your defense, pack your special teams. The quarterback's going to be good, so that doesn't matter. The defense is going to stop those quarterbacks, or your special teams is going to turn the plays. Jake, look, Super Bowl, block kick because Jake Moody, it was a bad kick. He was perfect until then because he's a rookie. He got drafted high. He has a lot of pressure on him, and I don't like that. For me personally, mentally, I do not like that. So do not draft a kicker over the 3rd round. Draft him the 5th or 7th round because it's too much pressure. Robert Aguayo's locker, Jake, was right next to mine. Trust me, I saw the pressure on his face every day when he missed all those kicks. Trust me. Second, when it comes to special teams units, have veterans, have guys like Justin Tucker who can get people's, who can throw people off because these rookies, it's a lot of pressure. Taylor Swift is in the sands, Jake. It's a lot. And so the second reason why the 49ers lost that Super Bowl is because of the muff punt. Their special teams wasn't as great, and the Chiefs were a little bit better on that. So your special teams has to be good. Do not get a kicker or a special teams player above the 3rd round. It puts too much pressure on them. And we saw it with Jake Moody. I saw it with Robert Aguayo. Those are my 2 examples, Jake. I play professional ball. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I do not agree on number 9.
I don't agree that it should happen, but I think it's going to because Jake Moody was picked in the 3rd. By the way, that was the first time anybody was picked that high since Roberto Aguayo. And then Nate Keating for the Chargers was picked in the 3rd in 2004. And then Mike Nugent was picked by the Jets in 2005 in the 2nd round. And Sebastian Janikowski in 2000 was picked 17th overall in the 1st round. Yeah. So, I mean, we've seen teams, it just takes one, Cam, out of the 32. Yeah. It just takes one to draft a kicker.
Check the chat.
Joshua Carty. I think Joshua Carty would be likely there. I was really impressed with him at the Senior Bowl. Wouldn't take a kicker in the 3rd. I wouldn't take a kicker until the 6th or 7th, personally. Maybe the 5th if you're feeling frisky, but I think 6th or 7th, to be honest with you, is the only place
who was your first specialist? I'm sorry, Jake. Who did you pick?
I think it would be Joshua Carty. I think that would be the guy out of Stanford. I thought he kicked well at the Senior Bowl. Yeah. So that's what I would say there.
You worked at the Senior Bowl multiple times. So when you talk about Senior Bowl stuff, hey, I played the NFLPA games. So I did not make the Senior Bowl.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was like, I was there one year and I was like, wow, Cade York is going to be a stud, and he's not a stud. So, I mean, it is what it is. But number 10,
last one. Sorry,
and final
we
one.
Went a little long, y'all. Sorry about that. Juicy.
You go long though. It means that you're having fun. So, Michael Penix Jr. is going to fall to the 2nd round, in my opinion. Cam does not agree. I think Michael Penix Jr. is going to fall to the 2nd round.
National championship.
And I think it's going to be one of those, not Deshaun Kaiser when he fell to the second round, but I think it's going to be more similar to Jalen Hurts. I think Penix can have success in this league. At the same time, though, Cam, I want to bring back something that we were talking about. I do think he was bad in Indiana. I do. And I think I believe in second chances. And I believe in college and how guys get better.
He's out of nowhere. He said, okay, out of nowhere, I'm just going to become a national champion contender, be the best, one of the better quarterbacks in that game. Jake, you watch the Indiana games? Did you watch those games?
Oh, yeah.
Most of them? And you don't think he was a good quarterback? You don't think he came back and beat teams from being that guy?
When I watched him at Indiana, that's not the same guy. And it's a credit to him because that shows
he shifted in a year he turned his 180. Boom.
He's been in college camp since 2018, which is crazy.
How is that crazy?
Because, well, when you think about it, like he's been banged up, and I think that's why he's going to fall outside the first round. It's because the injury history. Because
not a national champion competitor. Okay,
But I think that when you look at him, I mean, his time at Indiana, I mean, his last year, he had 4 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in 5 games, had a 53.7 completion percentage. Then he goes to Washington in 2022, 31 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. The next year, 36 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Before that, I mean, it was 10-4, 14-4, 4-7. It's not that like he was the worst thing I've ever seen at Indiana, but, you know, he improved his completion percentage, went up by 6 points. He had 29
receivers. Who were his receivers? Who was his coordinator? Like, you got to think, Jake, when you look at quarterbacks, you got to think about all those things.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that that just told me that he wasn't somebody that could come right in there and just elevate everything. He needs some help. And he got a little bit of help with Washington.
He went to another team. How long was he at Washington for 2 years or 1 year?
2 years.
Went to the national championship in the second year there, bro. After he was on the team that wasn't good, the Hoosiers, and flipped the whole thing around in 2 years. You're telling me he didn't have nothing, no sauce on him beforehand?
It's not that he wasn't talented. It's just he like his film isn't great. But also
his coaches were probably more great, and his protection was, bro. Jake, you know, there's multiple things that make you a great quarterback, bro. Yeah. I saw Michael Penix, and I knew immediately he was a baller. I knew immediately, and he didn't have the proper resources, so he transferred. And in 2 years, he went to the national championship. You're telling me he's going to fall the second round? I don't know about that. I'm sorry. I got to disagree with that.
There's definitely more than just he wasn't good at Indiana or whatever. Like, my issues with him in Indiana, I mean, he could not stay healthy. Cam, 3 games, 7 games, 6 games, 5 games.
His offensive line, bro, Jake, Matthew Stafford went through this, bro. You know this. When your offensive line isn't great, you're going to get smoked. Matthew Stafford, his spine was tore up, and then when he got healthy, he went back to the chip. Bro, Jake, we've seen this. We've talked about this for 2 years straight. How can you go against Michael Penix like that, and then you've seen it through Matthew Stafford, and say he's not going to or could not do something similar with the great resources? Bro, that's wild. That's wild.
I mean, I'm not saying that Penix is a bad quarterback. I'm saying when he got to Washington, everything came together, and I'm saying he needed the help of a good coaching staff. He needed an offensive line. He needed weapons. And I think that's fair to say because, you know, like having guys like Jalen Polk, having, you know, guys like Rome Odunze. I mean, like, those are 2 receivers that are going to get drafted in the top 3 rounds. Rome Odunze will probably go in the top 10. So Michael Penix didn't have that with Indiana. So what does that tell me? Doesn't mean that he's a bad prospect. What it tells me is that at Indiana, he could not elevate what was like crap around him. So he's not one of those rare circumstances that can just elevate everyone, right? He's not one of those rare guys that can come into any situation and make it better. I'm sure he made Indiana better than probably what they would have been, but he still got buried. Like, it was still quicksand for him. So he gets out of Indiana and he goes to Washington. The reason why I bring that up, that's important when you get to the NFL, because we've seen that. You know, a perfect example, I like the guy. And I feel like without injuries, I think he would have been really good. But Sam Bradford, the writing was on the wall all along. When you go back, you watch him at Oklahoma, everyone kept saying how pinpoint accurate he was and how well he deals with pressure. Man, go back and watch those games. There wasn't any pressure. He has Trent Williams as his left tackle. He's got all sorts of guys all over the place that can help him out. He has guys that, are putting him in position to succeed. He has guys that he can put in position to succeed. And it's not like he wasn't doing anything, but he was a point and shoot quarterback with all day to throw. And that's the thing that I look at. Like when I'm looking at quarterbacks in college and evaluating them, I want to see, is this a guy that I'm going to really need to build around? Is this a guy that I'm really going to need to put a bunch of guys around? Or is this somebody that is going to elevate? Is he going to be Tom Brady? Is he going to elevate Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola and Brandon Cooks and so forth? Is he going to, can I work with, Patrick Mahomes? Is he going to elevate Mecole Hardman? Or is this somebody that I know I now need to spend $40 million on receivers to keep him going?
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Everybody's against Penix. D Ham and CDC. They say careful, D Ham can't win at me for that Penix take. Well, hey, I must be delusional that Penix is not gonna that's crazy. I'm like, am I watching the same football? I must not be. Okay.
No. I like Penix actually.
Yeah, we're gonna see draft day. April 28th is draft. So D Ham, who is this? D Ham, let me see. D Ham and DC. Yeah, Hey, tell Bleacher Report we're gonna be on draft week. We're gonna see if Penix gets drafted, yes or no. Because I'm very competitive, and y'all don't think he get drafted top first round. I think he will. So we're gonna see.
Hey, DC likes both of our takes. So
okay.
We're all just having fun here. There's no ill will.
But Jake, we talk about yeah, I like both of your takes. Yeah, that's love. Jake, at the end of the day, we share what we think. At the end of the day, we don't have a crystal ball. We just research it. We share what we think. So thank y'all for hanging in there with us. I know we went a little bit long here, but it's post Super Bowl. And Jake, I think it's really important that we also shout out Kelsey, our producer, because Kelsey's been like, yo, y'all got to hurry this up. And we're like, this is great content. So thank y'all for hanging out with us, Kelsey. Thank you for hanging out with us. And for the folks in the chat, there's not many, but just know, our thoughts and our ideas, we figure out our show flow based off of what y'all are saying. So we appreciate y'all too, Jake. I know I kind of went off on a tangent there, but we're coming up on time in a little bit, and I just want to be thoughtful for our guests and for Kelsey as well.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, guys, as you guys can see it on the screen, Caleb Williams reuniting with Cliff Kingsbury in Washington. That's our big one. Bears trading down and keeping Fields. Bears selecting Marvin Harrison Jr., which of course leads to the Patriots taking Drake May and the Arizona Cardinals probably crying in a corner about losing Marvin Harrison Jr. and trading down with the Atlanta Falcons to give them Jaden Daniels. The Rams making their first round pick since 2016 when they selected Jared Goff. 5 quarterbacks being selected in the first round. A rare trade happening in the first round. Could be a sign and trade. Could be a T. Higgins, somebody like that. Kicker will go as high as the 3rd round. Again, that's something I think is going to happen, not something I would do. And then last but not least, Michael Penix falling to the 2nd round. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Appreciate Bleacher Report as always for hosting us and having us. It's always a blast, always appreciative. You can follow me at JK Boga on all social media and on the app. You can follow Cameron Lynch at Cameron Lynch 50 on all social media. And you can follow Cameron Lynch on the app as well, Cam Lynch. So we will.
And Jake, I appreciate you, Jake, too, man. Thank you for sticking in there and allowing me to share how I feel, because it got spicy today, bro. Like Super Bowl, I didn't get a chance to go to the
man.
I didn't get to go to the game, so I felt a little way. So I had to let it out. You know what I mean, with my thoughts here in the show. So I appreciate you for being my sparring partner, allowing me to share my thoughts in sports. And man, I'm grateful for you. So thank you.
Back at you, man. All right, everyone, be well, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Thank you, Later, Kelsey.